Howdy, doody, everybody. It's your boy, and it's Monday. I believe it's the 11th. I'm almost positive about that. Of January 2021. And, year's already crazy. I'm sure everybody's aware of it. But, in my opinion, I think it's good to have your years be crazy because that means it's not a mundane, absolute boring blech year. You know what I mean? We got a lot to talk about. I mean, 2020 sucked, right? But I don't think it really sucked, did it? I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't pleasant for some people, and I'm sure it was pleasant for other people. But at the end of the day, that's history, and we're part of it. And in 10 years, when they're talking about it, we're going to be able to recollect it and be telling it to people who have no memory of it whatsoever. You know what I mean? Your children's children, not in 10 years. That would be much longer than 10 years. But unless you got kids that got kids in 10 years, not judging. It's plus vibes today. I just want to talk about, it's going to be more relevant to something that's going on to me personally, and then me kind of saying how I'm going to handle this situation, and then honestly, I'm curious how everybody else would. So this is more of a video where I would love it if people had some sort of response to it. So I have an opportunity that has been presented to me that it has a high volume of cons and then a high volume of pros, and they're both kind of extreme, and I don't have a whole lot. If you were to make a Venn diagram, I don't have a whole lot in the middle, right? It's just swinging hard left and hard right at the same time, right? So I'm going to tell you how I'm analyzing it and how I'm going to approach it moving forward. And the first thing I did is I had to remove emotion. I had an initial emotional reaction. I had an opportunity for employment that is similar, it's comparable to what I do now, right? Now, obviously, I'm at a point in my life where I believe that this is no longer conducive for a happy life to me. I don't enjoy the actual thing I do for my occupation, right? So now I have this opportunity where it's similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar, and they're willing to pay me a good bit more money, right? But it's a further drive. It's going to be the same kind of thing that I already am aware that I'm not going to be happy doing. And I initially felt, upset. I initially felt angry that, man, again, this is the only offers I'm getting. I got my stuff out there on Indeed and whatnot, and I'm trying to force myself into a whole bunch of avenues, because you got to take action if you want results, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put myself out there to get that back from the universe. And so what keeps happening, because I have the experience in this field, is I'm going to continuously get responses in this field. And so initially I was upset, angry, and now I got to be like, all right, at least there are some positives about it. What's the positive? I will be getting compensated a little more. It would be salaried, so I would have the potentiality for benefits. I don't know what vacation time and anything like that would be. And just all around, it's kind of focused around the money. And then my negatives are, yes, it's going to be something that I probably won't end up enjoying. It's a far drive. I would have to either wake up very early. If I'm working a morning shift, there was suggestion that I would be working the second or third shift, which would mean either way I'm waking up and leaving far in advance for my shift, because I have to beat traffic, or I have to just, even if there's no traffic, it's a far drive, you know what I'm saying? So I would have to compensate for that no matter what. And so that's not pleasant, right? You don't want to be, you already have to put in 8 hours a day, let's say. You don't want to have to put in an additional hour prior and an additional hour after your job, making it a 10-hour day. You're completely occupied to this job, and you're only getting paid for 8 hours of it, that's something that should be negotiated when you have a job, you know what I mean? Certain levels of job, you know what I mean? I'm not saying McDonald's. I mean, if you're getting a job at McDonald's, I hope you got one close to the house. I hope you didn't get a job at McDonald's 25 miles. That would be a terrible decision. And there are too many McDonald's for you to have to do that. But for jobs that are, you know, let's say more niche and more, let's say they're higher paying, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that I'm in any kind of field of high pay, but like, I'm not getting minimum wage. So like any kind of job that's doing that, they should take into account your drive time, right? Especially if they're asking you to come for an hour, you know? So I digress. Those are my things, right? Now I've got like two, I think it's like 2 and 2 and maybe 3 on the negative side. I've lost the count already, but you know, you got the money and you got the potentiality of benefits, money and potentiality of benefits because salaried. Oh, and then one more negative, salary means no overtime. So when I work over, that means I'm not gonna make that additional money, right? So salary can be beneficial, blah, blah, blah. So my point is that right now it's leaning right towards the negative side and it's leaning more towards the no, right? So what would you do in this situation? Would you not even go take that interview? Would you not go check it out? Would you just say, no, I've come this far with logic. I threw my initial emotional reaction out and I actually broke it down and weighed out my pros and cons, and my cons are outweighing the pros. So based on the knowledge I have right now, without getting any more knowledge, I'm going to say no. Well, I feel like personally, I feel like that's not getting the full picture. That's not getting the entirety of the situation. And I feel like often decisions are made too hastily. I feel like often decisions are made in like incomplete information. You don't have it all, yet you're still going to try and make an assessment on it. So, would you do that? Be honest, would you do that? Or would you take the next step and try and get all the information? Well, I'm going to do the latter. What I'm doing is I'm waiting to get the call back, and I'm just telling them, I'm being upfront, telling them that, you know, I'm interested, but I have a lot of questions, and we'll see where it goes from there. And I'm gonna really consider it, and I'm gonna really, because you know, I have no idea how well this could benefit me. And here's the way I'm looking at it. If I leave here to do something similar, but I'm making more money, and it turns out to be I get way better benefits, and it's much more worth my while, and maybe they would compensate me for travel and all that kind of stuff. If it all works out to where, you know, reward wise it benefits me better over there, why not? If it's just gonna be basically the similar scenario, the similar environment, I got not much to lose, right? I'm not going to a worse thing, I'm going to like the same thing, right? So that's me considering all those options, and then I'm going to at least go in there and get all the information that I possibly can on this and attack it from there and make an assessed, emotionless decision. So this is, to me today, all I'm talking about is, are you making an informed decision? Are you getting all the information? Are you weighing it out? Are you really using all of your tools at your disposal? And all I'm talking about, all of your tools, is one tool, and it's your mind. Are you utilizing your brain to the fullest extent by getting all the information on a situation before you make a decision? Are you making a complete, informed decision? Or are you not? And do you think it's not a bad thing for you to go ahead and do that? You know what I mean? Because I've done that before, or I've done it where I've taken all the information, I've done my best to weigh out all the options, and I've went for it, and it still kind of went, right? To me, I still think that this is the best way to handle it. And I think a lot of you will agree with me. And no matter what, the more information is, the better. Knowledge is power. That's indisputable. But maybe somebody's got a case to argue for the prior. Let me know. Hit them comments. Happy Monday, everybody. I love you all, and I'll kind of keep you updated on how that particular scenario turns out, because that is not a fabricated thing. That is a real thing, and I'm going to be handling it. So, have a good one. Love y'all. Peace out.